I don't even know if I should call this breaking news because I think we all knew this was going to happen. Everybody. We all knew by the end of the season what the Phoenix Suns were going to do. The Phoenix Suns today fired Mike Budenholzer after a 36-46 record, 11th in the Western Conference. Just a terrible, terrible season from them, from top to bottom. Also fired in today's news was the president of basketball ops for the New Orleans Pelicans, David Griffith, who, as we all know, had that same position for the Cleveland Cavaliers when they were in their championship one with Kyrie, LeBron, and Kevin Love. But after 6 seasons, they let him go. 1 season for the Suns when it comes to Mike Budenholzer. We're gonna get into that. Welcome back to the MC Show. It's your boy. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Get this video out to as many people as possible. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna. I'm better than anybody you watch on television. Let's just be completely honest. And I know you guys agree, so why not show me some love and click that like button, share this video. Let's get the subscribers up. Let's get these views up. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate all the love that I get. Starting with the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns have now fired their 3rd coach in 3 years. 2 seasons ago, the 22-23 season, they fired Monty Williams. That season, I forget what seeding they were, but they made it to they beat the Clippers in 5 games, and then they lost to the eventual champions, the Denver Nuggets, in 6 games, getting blown out on their home floor for the 2nd year in a row. Remember in 2022, remember Luka and the Dallas Mavericks cooking them in Game 7 on their home floor. That 22-23 season was the year they got Kevin Durant. They wanted to change, so they hired Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel is a good coach. He coached the Indiana team to multiple conference finals. He coached the Lakers team in 2020 to a championship. Obviously, he got fired from that and comes here. He spends 1 season, and he honestly didn't do as bad of a job as I think the Phoenix Suns thought to themselves. He had them as the 6th seed. He actually had them as the 13th defense in the league at that time. Frank Vogel is known as more of a defensive coach, and the fact that he got that out of that roster, who traded for Bradley Beal, traded for Yusuf Nurkic, and was able to make a above average defense with that roster, showed me that Frank Vogel can actually coach. It's just the roster construction is poor. And then you come to this season. Okay, well, we're going to fire Frank Vogel. Let's hire Mike Budenholzer. Mike Budenholzer, for whatever you may think of him, racks up 50-win seasons routinely. He did that in Atlanta. He did that when he was in Milwaukee. He is also a championship head coach. Mike Budenholzer can coach. I feel like a lot of people don't give Mike Budenholzer for his credit. I understand that Mike Budenholzer has his problems coaching, and I agree he's not the perfect coach, but he is better than I think people give him credit for. And he came into this season with a poor roster. They have the highest payroll in NBA history, having 3 max contracts on their team. Obviously, in Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. So because they have all 3 of those guys on their team, this just makes it really hard for them to sign role players, to have options at certain contracts, like the mid-level exception or the taxpayer mid-level exception. Every sort of contract that they're able to offer players are all minimums. And yeah, they got Royce O'Neal. I think they got him on a $10 million deal for 4 years. $10 million a year, 4 year, $40 million, I believe. And Royce O'Neal's a good role player, but like, again, Tyus Jones and Mason Plumlee, Yusuf Nurkic didn't work out this season, so they traded him. They had to, I believe they sent out a pick in order to get rid of Yusuf Nurkic. They got back Nick Richards, who I think is a fine player. I thought he was fine when he was in Phoenix, but not anything that changed the direction of their team, obviously. And so, to me, I understand Mike Budenholzer didn't have a great season this year, but I don't blame everything on Mike Budenholzer. There were obviously reports that that he never really got hold of the locker room. The players didn't buy into whatever he was saying. A little bit of friction between D Book and Mike Budenholzer, which obviously is a problem. He didn't have command of the locker room, and I don't necessarily blame that all on Coach Bud. I blame a little bit on the players for not buying in. The person to me who gets the most blame is their owner, Matt Ishbia. He has not done anything good, in my opinion, in terms of basketball, in terms of roster construction. Trading for Bradley Beal was one of the worst mistakes they could have done. Bradley Beal's on a supermax contract. Bradley Beal has a no trade clause on his contract. You're basically stuck with him. He can't get traded they can't trade him without him saying yes. Like why would you trade for a guy like that? You had Devin Booker, you had Kevin Durant. It's hard in today's CBA to have 3 max guys on your roster. And they knew that. They knew that this CBA, the way everything is structured, they knew that. And they still decided to trade for Bradley Beal. Let's say they were like, okay, you know what? It doesn't matter. We're going to go get Bradley Beal. Anyways, we don't care about the luxury tax or whatever. Obviously, they don't. Matt Ishbia is willing to spend whatever it takes to win. But what makes you think Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant was gonna work? Like, offensively, they shouldn't be as bad as they seem. And they weren't bad offensively. I believe they finished the year 10th in offense. And they weren't bad offensively last year. They were probably better statistically. Booker, Beal, and Durant, they were, 26 and 15 together. They were a positive. They were way worse than that this season. I had my skepticism about if those 3 could fit on the court. They, to me, showed more often than not that they probably wasn't gonna work. And I think that if you were going to try to make all 3 of them fit, I think you needed a coach who was very innovative offensively. Like, if Steve Kerr, innovative offensively, if he was able to coach this team, they probably will look a lot better with all the cutting and the screening and getting guys open that he brought to the Warriors. If, let's just for example, he was on the Phoenix Suns, they probably will look better. Because that's what you kind of need. Like, their offense, again, it's not horrible, but it was never innovative enough. It was never innovative enough. So they could have worked, but they never really reached their full potential. And I'm not surprised by that, because I thought it would be a tough fit in the first place. But Matt Ishbia is making wrong decisions for this franchise. If you are a Phoenix Suns fan, I feel sorry for you. Especially when Tim McMahon released that article talking about how Matt Ishbia is just going to keep going for it every single year, that he doesn't want to rebuild. Like, that's probably real scary. To know that you have an owner who is so incompetent and out of touch with reality to not hold on to draft picks and not be flexible when it comes to cap space, like, that's scary. Like, this guy doesn't know how to build a team. He does not know how to build a team. And then sort of blames it on the coach. He blames it on Monty Williams. And blames it on Mike Budenholzer. Blames it on Frank Vogel. Like, that's not the problem. The problem is you and the rest of the front office, but mostly you, because you're the one who okayed the Kevin Durant trade. That was like the guy's first major move when he got here. Taking over for Robert Sarver. Was, okay, listen, we're going to give Phoenix whatever we want because we want Kevin Durant. And okay, you want Kevin Durant, but now you have no draft picks. You trade for Bradley Beal. Now you have no space to be flexible with your roster. And now you're at a point where you're fired 3 coaches in 3 straight seasons. Is there an NBA team right now that's going to have 4 coaches on their payroll? That's insane, bro. That's absolutely insane. Now, it seems like Kevin Durant is probably gonna get traded. They're gonna work with him and his representation to try to go somewhere where he feels like, because I think Kevin Durant wants to compete still, go to a place where he can compete. It's just this was such a horrible 2 years, maybe even three if you want to go to 22-23 season. But really this year and last year, but mainly this season, it was awful when it comes to the culture in Phoenix. It was awful when it comes to the management in Phoenix. Matt Isbia needs to back off a little bit. Understand that you cannot just keep going all in every single season. You cannot just be a second apron team every single season. You can't just be like, oh, listen, we have a guy that makes a lot of money who can score 25 points and this, that, and the third, and just be like, we're gonna throw all our draft picks away and just try to get that guy to try to win every single season. Like, that's not how you win. That's not how you should be running a team. You can't just throw away draft picks. Draft picks are probably even more valuable now in today's CBA because those guys are on cost control contracts. Every team needs a little bit of young players that they can rely on for the future, especially if you have a superstar or superstars who are in their 30s. And you're gonna trade Kevin Durant, and I don't know what the asking price is gonna be. We'll see that. We'll find out probably after the season ends in June. But you're not gonna get 5 first-round picks for Kevin Durant. You're not getting the Rudy Gobert package for him. You're not doing that. So we'll see how this turns out for the Phoenix Suns. But this was one of the most embarrassing seasons I've probably seen in my lifetime. Definitely the most embarrassing team this season. I know people might say Philadelphia 76ers, but you could chalk that up to injury bug. You could, like, Paul George hyperextended the same knee 2 times. Joel Embiid's knee hasn't been healthy in over a year. Jared McCain tore his meniscus. Like, you could chalk that up to an injury-riddled season. But they were healthy for most of the season. I know Bradley Beal missed a good chunk of time, but Kevin Durant missed his last few games with the ankle injury. But for the most part, Booker and Durant were healthy. This is just a team that was 27th in defense. Again, Frank Vogel actually got this team 13th in defense. They come the next season are way worse. Literally one of the worst defensive teams in the season. I believe they were like second worst since the All-Star break. They went on an 8-game losing streak, like getting blown out in like every single game. Like, absolute mismanagement by the Phoenix Suns organization. So we'll see what happens. And in other news, you have the New Orleans Pelicans firing David Griffith after 6 seasons. This one to me is less, I don't have too much emotional thought about it. The New Orleans Pelicans definitely needed a change. I think, to me, my biggest critique of David Griffith is the fact that I feel like he was too hesitant to do some stuff. I think he was too hesitant to choose on Brandon Ingram. His first season was the bubble season, where he traded Anthony Davis to the Lakers. That was his first season. Since then, I don't think he's done a bad job, because I think a big part of New Orleans is like lack of success has been Zion has been injured a lot. And this whole season, like the first week of the season, everybody was hurt. DeJounte Murray broke his hand, then he tore his Achilles. CJ McCollum had a shoulder injury. I believe Herb Jones had a shoulder. Jose Alvarado had an injury. Zion was out most of the season with a hamstring. Like, it's not all on David Griffith's fault, but just the Brandon Ingram, we don't know what we're going to do with Trey Murphy. We don't know what we're going to do with Herb Jones and CJ McCollum. I just thought he was too hesitant to pull some triggers to improve the team. Zion, again, hasn't been healthy. So that's really a big issue in New Orleans. But they needed a change. I think Willie Green, who they said that they weren't going to fire, I think he can coach. I think he is a good coach. They just needed a shakeup. We'll see who the new president of basketball operations, what he'll do. Will he be more quick to pull a CJ McCollum trade or a Zion Williamson trade or whatever the case may be? But New Orleans probably gonna get a high draft pick this year. We'll see what direction they go in. Daryl Morey isn't getting fired. Let me know what you guys think about that. I believe he's been there 5 years. Yeah, I believe 5 years. They announced that he's gonna stay. There's a little bit of controversy on that, so you guys let me know what you think about the Budenholzer firing, about David Griffith, about any other coach or president of basketball ops or GM who you think should be fired. The regular season is now over. Playoffs will be starting. Play-in will be starting, then playoffs. But I do want to give a little bit of a video on awards, who I think should win MVP, All-NBA, All-Defense, and stuff like that. So watch out for that video. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.